So from the intro you saw that I'm trying something a little different. Yeah. There's a technique that I have very rarely used, which is adding salt to a painting. I think it's there's a time and place for it, and what I really want for this one is a real soft background with diffused form and shape. So we're going to see how that works. Just waiting for that to come about. So I think it'll be interesting. Well, I'm sure it'll be interesting. Hopefully it'll be pretty. So just setting up the background. Sometimes watercolor is just about waiting for things to dry. I could use a hair dryer at this point, but I don't think that's well. I don't want it this time because I actually want that color to move in the water, and the salt is going to draw the water in, and when it draws the water in, it's going to draw the pigment in as well. So we'll see how it works. Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of those times when you just kind of have to sit and wait. So, yeah, I guess I'll go work on something else for a little bit. Maybe I'll work on editing a video, so eventually you'll get to see this one. I'm a few videos behind. Okay, that's all for now. So I've let that go as long as I want it to. Got some other stuff done while I was at it. And, oh, yeah. So now I think I'll do is take up some of the added extra water that hasn't dried yet. It hasn't been that long. And then we'll break out the hair dryer. Continue to try stuff I don't usually do. I think we all get set. I don't know. I think no matter what we do for a living, whether it's art, computers, anything, we get set in our routines. And something I'm really appreciating about this whole process is kind of stepping out of the comfort zone, trying things, even if they're not things that are new, things that we don't do very often. I think it's very refreshing. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk to the camera. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to work. So hopefully you find this interesting. Okay. I don't know if you'll find this interesting or not, but hey, if nothing else, you can tell people you watch someone do a blowjob on the internet. Here we go. It's a little loud. There. So it's not quite dry yet. You'll notice I haven't really touched the salt either. I didn't want to disturb what was there. Some very interesting little effects showing up. Awesome. And this isn't really an extreme example either. So there's very little pigment, quite a bit of moisture. Gonna have to do it a little bit more. Notice when I'm using the hairdryer, I'm not keeping it in one place for very long. I think that's, well, I know that's important. You don't want to overheat the surface, and you want to avoid irregular drying in general, and you don't want it to get too hot. Okay, I'd say that's good enough. There's a little bit of moisture left, not very much. And, yeah, while we're getting ready for the next step, it can dry to completion. So we'll just get rid of the salt, just knocking it off. Okay, so took the salt off, gave it another blow dry. There's still a little more moisture than I wanted, and I'm about ready to start. So, sip of coffee. Oh boy, that's good stuff. Anyways, so today's painting is going to be of a maple tree branch. And if I'm feeling really adventurous, I might put a bird in it. So, but yeah. This is supposed to be, yeah, day 5. This is actually day 6 because day 5 was a blowout. I got so caught up in doing editing for day 2, not that I'm behind or anything, that I just ran out of day. So, yeah. So I'm not going to get too complicated here. But we'll see what it goes. So, without any more ado, without me chatting any longer, I'm going to paint. That's why you're here, right? To watch me paint. I'm assuming that's why you're here. It's not just my beautiful face. Okay, anyways, without being too silly, let's cue the appropriate cultural music. And sit back, relax, and watch the magic unfurl. Here we go. So I'm going to take a break here for just a second. You'll notice that my, well, maybe you'll notice that I'm trying to hold the brush in a different manner. I don't know if, let's see. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that or not. Well, here we go. Yeah, I'm trying to hold the brush like this, which is not a normal way for me to hold it. But from my admittedly limited research, this is a more traditional way. Oh, excuse me. From my, Jesus. 5, 4, 3, yeah, okay. For my limited research, this is the way, one of the ways to hold the brush for the Sumi style, which is what I'm doing, of painting. Now, obviously, Sumi is done with ink, and I'm using watercolor, and I'm using the wrong brush, but that's okay. This is more of an exercise for me. Yeah. Trying to develop a more exact stroke, a movement that is more deliberate and precise. I'm hoping that that will transfer over well to my style of watercolor painting. That's why I'm doing this. That and the fact that I really do appreciate and enjoy the style. It's a very Spartan yet very beautiful style of paint. So anyways, we'll go back to it. So, I thought I'd take a moment, take a break from this, speak to it a little bit. If nothing else, I need a break. It's amazing how difficult I find this type of painting to be. It's very humbling in a way. Just the steady hand and trying to separate my ego from what I'm doing. Very humbling. Part of the problem is I know that you're watching. So I'm experimenting, and I feel like I'm under the camera, or under the microscope, so I'm feeling a little bit more pressure, I think, which in the long run is good, but at the moment it's kind of painful. I hope you can appreciate that. It's I'm going to get back to work, but it's I was just sitting here painting and thinking how there was a time not too long ago when I probably could not have done this. And I'm thankful for life's lessons and being able to really go beyond who I am, who I was. I don't know if that makes any sense to people, but it's an important lesson to learn. That I guess what I'm getting at is it's important to understand that what we do is not who we are. This isn't an inspirational poster or anything. It's this is from the heart. I hope that makes sense to people. If not now, maybe at some point in the future. So, anyways. Speaking to what I was talking to earlier, I think what I was trying to impart was the idea that when we let go of our ego, when we remove this protective shell and we open ourselves up to the possibility of failure, we provide ourselves with the opportunity for success. So it's been a few minutes and I've given the paint time to dry. So all the leaves are dried, and now I'm going to go in and put in the branches and the twigs, try and finish up this painting. So far I'm pretty happy with it. I see areas where I can improve, but that's always going to be the case. Yeah, so without any further ado, I think we'll just get back to it, shall we? overall, I think it's an okay piece. I think I should have spent a few more minutes getting back into the painting before I started the branches. They didn't flow the way I had hoped, and the way I had envisioned. So overall not bad, but it feels a little more busy than I really wanted for this piece. I think I'm going to have to revisit this painting. So, but that's okay. As I was talking about earlier, the idea is to try new things with the probability of failure. It's not a bad painting. I just don't feel that it's as strong a painting as I wanted, as I envisioned. So, but I'm going to call it good, sign it off, and yeah, go from there. So tomorrow's another painting. So that's the neat thing about this, is that, yeah, it's not exactly what I wanted. That's okay. I'm going to try something different tomorrow, and I think maybe later in the week, maybe next week, maybe next weekend, try this style again, try this idea again. So, and with each time, hopefully it gets a little bit more, gets closer to what I want, what I envision. I have an image in my head, and I'm trying to get that down. So it's interesting. It's a good challenge. So I'm also finding that the size is a bit of a challenge, because I really kind of want to push out further, and this is kind of pulling me back in. So it's an interesting challenge. I'm enjoying this. I'm hurting. My pride is a little hurt at the moment, but I'll get over it. So, thank you for watching.